Good day, everyone. So I am slightly sad here with Kokomi, and I'll explain why. So I'm standing here at the sea of a bygone era, and all I'm really doing is exploring, finishing up some chests and so on. But it kind of hit me when I stood here. It hit me how little Hoyo has done for Kokomi, and what do I mean by this is the fact that, like any other character, Kokomi just swims through this underwater area. Now, to some of you, that might seem a little bit odd. Well, that's the thing. Kokomi herself is supposed to be really in tune with nature and underwater. I mean, she's one of the unique characters that can breathe permanently underwater outside of Fontaine, and it felt like Hoyo really wasted, or they really wasted all of the opportunities they could have taken with Kokomi to highlight the character, to use her as almost a, I don't want to say like mascot for an underwater area, but it just feels like Hoyo could have done more. I've talked about this in the past, but I do think that giving Kokomi a dolphin dive or giving her on her elemental skill like infinite walk on water would not have hurt any of the Fontaine characters. It wouldn't have hurt any of the sales. I even think that giving Kokomi a cosmetic by now wouldn't have. I think it could have only given Hoyo more money, giving her an echo or one of the little thespian tricks that we saw in the Imaginarium Theatre. Anything would have been awesome. And yet, what we've gotten is perhaps one of the most elegant and beautiful characters in the game being wasted by Hoyo, and that to me is incredibly sad. From a gameplay and combat perspective, I mean, yeah, the Kokomi is falling out of the meta. We understand why that is. She's a character that started by filling a lot of roles as a role consolidator, and with more units obviously now being able to fill more roles, the place for Kokomi is, well, there's not really that much of a role anymore, although her teams are still very good if you want to run them in the Abyss. But from my perspective, as we go on to Natland and so on, the power creep's just going to start ramping up. The amount of characters they're going to give us is just going to start ramping up. And I do not see Kokomi herself getting any meaningful content in the future. I think what will happen is they'll probably bundle her with Raiden or some of the other Inazuma characters, but nothing standalone. Nothing, for instance, like the 4.8 event where Nilo gets her skin and she's literally the fairy of the place. You know, nothing that puts Kokomi in the spotlight, and that to me is just sad. It really just turns everything kind of dark, and I really don't know what to feel about this as a Kokomi main, because I've put in a lot of work, but it really just feels like an end of an era for Kokomi. Where I do stand at the moment is that I'm going to continue enjoying Kokomi in my own way, creating my own fictional stories and means of playing with the character, and hopefully on the channel a part of that can be shared with you guys, because even if Hoyo gave up on the character, I'm definitely not going to give up.